Group 4 presents Is It Ethical for Corporations to Data Mine Their Users? A production by Andrew Sarovi, Hunter Bishop, Matt Wilson, Richard Davis, and Tyler Zarimba.
Data mining is a major part of the online experience for users of major applications and services. Do you know what is being collected? Do you know what that data is being used for? Are there any legalities? Is it ethical for corporations to mine data from their users of its services? Well, we are about to discuss these questions and more to try and figure it out.
So what is data mining? Let's start with breaking down what data mining really is. What is data? At the most basic level, data in this sense is any statistic that could be attributed to a user's personal information that is available to the public for anyone to analyze. The mining process is, in its simplest form, all collected data gathered into a pool with the intent to refine the data that's most valuable to the miner.
Before we can delve into attempting to answer our question, we must first specify what we mean by ethical and what does and does not count as ethical. From the Merriam-Webster dictionary, ethical is defined as of or relating to ethics, with their definition of ethics being the discipline dealing with what is good and bad, and with moral duty or obligation. The word in there that is most important to us is moral, as we have to decide what is moral and immoral in terms of business practices. When you sign up for an account to any given website, you are required to accept a terms and conditions agreement as well as a privacy statement giving these websites permission to do what is written within them. But more on this later. In most cases, the sites are asking you to allow them to monitor your activities to ensure you are not a person attempting any sort of damage to the site or enterprise that owns the website. But sometimes they will put in fine print a clause in which you allow the company to collect and sell your data to outside advertising corporations for profit. To us, this practice is regarded as being highly immoral, as the company is using your data and personal information for their profit. When we give companies these permissions, we do so in expectance that they will use the information for their own collection needs, not to sell and collect unnecessary information for their profit. To define ethical ourselves, we say that it means acting in the highest regard of human decency while knowing what separates right from wrong.
Profiling has been a powerful tool for military and police for a long time in order to identify potential suspects. However, in recent history, profiling has been vilified due to many accounts of discrimination and is generally thought of as an unacceptable practice. Even while it's frowned upon, we continue to see profiling being used. We see corporations using data they've gathered from their users in an effort to show the user ads and other information that the corporation believes is relevant to the user. This may seem innocent enough, but these targeted ads may not be solely generated from content the user is viewing. Some of the algorithms used for targeted ads are deliberately designed using predictive analysis to identify characteristics such as race, gender, and sexual preference, among other characteristics. This is where corporations may end up discriminating users, and they must be careful to use the data appropriately, or they will be under major scrutiny.
We all see those pages that pop up when we want to sign up for an account on a new website or an app on your phone, and they say something along the lines of terms and conditions or user agreements. But the reality is that 99% of the time, nobody's ever going to read any of those 27 pages in a user agreement or a terms and conditions page, which is why we want to try to warn against the cavalier attitude that a lot of people have towards these documents. So the formal definition of a user agreement is any agreement that is put in place between an owner, operator, or provider of a website, mobile app, or web-based service that dictates and defines the scope of rights and responsibilities between both parties. And all of that can be simplified down to just saying whoever's running the apps or websites can decide what they want to do with your actions and inputs that you put into these things, as long as you check a box at the bottom of the user agreements page. Oftentimes, a company like Google will data mine search results and emails to enhance targeted advertising so that they can just make even more money off of their customers that are using Google and Gmail every day. And while people complain that they don't want their stuff online and they don't want their search results to be known, Google can cite their user agreements at certain points that will show that this customer consented to having their actions data mined for these purposes. So while it might not be totally ethical on the part of large companies, so long as they put something in the user agreements, they have a cop-out to say that a customer willingly consented to having their data used.
With companies mining and selling data on their customers, personal security and privacy are becoming harder to obtain. Huge amounts of data on a person is collected on an everyday basis from various sources. Online, social media, Internet of Things devices, mobile devices, and wired and wireless communication channels are making it tough for any individual to have a smaller digital footprint. Privacy for any user of technology has become close to non-existent. It only seems to be getting worse as many of the world's largest companies are looking to invest in smart apps that rely on the data mined on the user and will increase the sale and purchase of a user's information to a much larger network of companies. Without a proper privacy policy for internet usage, user information is up for grabs, and there will continually be a risk that your information could wind up in the wrong hands.
Data mining can really be simplified to the studying of patterns and trends in users of certain websites or apps. It allows large companies like Google or Apple to see what people are doing and what might be popular to help with targeted advertisements. This also brings the question of ethicality and legality.
While the practices of data mining might not be ethical to the point where companies are almost tricking people into consenting, the fact that they are consenting in some form of user agreement takes away the legal possibilities when trying to sue a company.